Was the Super Bowl halftime show good or bad? How am I supposed to know? I couldn't understand it.
Pronto, si tengo muchas novias, ey, muchas novias. Hoy tengo una, mañana otra.
I'm Rich Lowry of National Review, and that's the point now, isn't it? You can criticize the music. I'm not a music critic personally. You can criticize the politics. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But I think the big thing to know about this show is that the NFL chose to go out of its way at this national festival, one of the most important, commonly experienced events in the United States of America in any calendar year, and put on a show in another language. Now, Spanish is a big second language in the United States. 45 million people, give or take, speak it. That's a lot. But that meant that 85% of Americans had no chance of understanding this except for maybe the twerking. So this really matters, right? We're coming up on the 250th anniversary of our independence as a country. There'll be a lot of focus on, and I hope appreciation of, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, George Washington, all of which extremely important, but we shouldn't neglect the elemental significance of the English language to our national project, and we need to do everything we can to preserve it as a crucial cultural glue for this country. And this is my major objection to the halftime show. I have others, but I think it's so important to focus on this. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of our common language in this video, thanks to what Bad Bunny did on Sunday night. The first thing to know is that having a common language makes national unity so much easier. This is something the founding fathers realized. John Jay wrote this in the Federalist Papers. I've often taken notice that Providence has been pleased to give us this one connected country to one united people, a people descended from the same ancestor, speaking the same language, professing the same religion, attached to the same principles of government, very similar in their manners and customs, and who, by their joint counsels, arms, and efforts, fighting side by side throughout a long, bloody war, have nobly established general liberty and independence. Now, you can say Jay's exaggerating a little bit there, but the importance that he puts on language is exactly apt. When countries don't have a common language, it very often tears them apart. Canada, a nice and pleasant enough place, has nearly been torn apart at times by the presence of a French-speaking province. Quebec, Belgium, also nice, pleasant, has been perennially riven between its French-speaking and Dutch-speaking regions. Meanwhile, Spain has had trouble dealing with an independence movement in Catalonia, where they largely speak Catalan despite the government pushing back. On the other hand, you look at the Treaty of Verdun, which divided up Charlemagne's empire in 843, and I know everyone was expecting a Charlemagne reference in the video about Bad Bunny's halftime show, but that division was based on the German speaking parts and the Romance language speaking parts, basically corresponding to France and Germany, and it's lasted for more than 1,000 years because it was based on language. The scholar Benedict Anderson wrote just how deep language runs. He wrote of how language, quote, looms up imperceptibly out of a horizonless past, close quote. This is why languages, quote, appear rooted beyond almost anything else in contemporary societies. At the same time, nothing connects us effectively to the dead more than language, close quote. So good, so true. It's why nationalist movements have often been sparked by historians, writers, lexicographers. Poets have been crucial in national movements. The Irish had Yeats, the Poles had Mickiewicz, the Zionists had Bialik, and so on. Another thing you see throughout human history is that one of the things that people find most intolerable is the idea that someone else would come into their country and try to stop them from speaking their own language, or stop them from teaching their children in their own language, or force them to speak another language. So all this is to say, we have this great blessing, this common unifying force of the English language. Why would we go out of our way to try to mess it up? Now, look, our culture changes over time. That is also a very important phenomenon. We have this amazing ability as a country to absorb other cultures. That's all to the good, but it doesn't mean we need to go out of our way to speak Spanish. We have lots of Latin singers who perform in English. We should want, indeed demand, that immigrants come in this country speak English. Good for them, good for us, and overwhelmingly they do. This is true of Hispanic immigrants as well. Here's a piece from Pew Research, a couple years old, but notes the trend. English proficiency is rising among U.S. Latinos. In 2019, the most recent available data from the U.S. Census Bureau, 72% of all Latinos ages 5 and older indicated they spoke English proficiently, up from 59% in 1980. Many of the gains in English proficiency for the group have come since 2000, reflecting the slowdown in Latin American immigration this century. Now that obviously has changed the last couple of years. At the same time, the share of Latinos who speak Spanish at home is falling. In 2019, 7 in 10 Latinos ages 5 and older spoke Spanish at home, down from a peak of 78% in 2000. Maybe those numbers are changing a little bit, but you see the big picture. And the point is that you can have a halftime show in English and nearly everyone would understand it. What's the problem with that? What was going on here? Well, one, either the NFL just didn't care because Bad Bunny's a popular musician, so it doesn't matter if he's performing in Spanish, or there was a larger cultural point being made here, a larger cultural agenda, and perhaps we can discern an element of that in this part of Bad Bunny's performance.
God bless America, sea Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Perú, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, Haití, las Antillas, United States, Canadá, and my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
Now, I think for a lot of us sitting, watching at home, that might have been our favorite part of the show, right? We're eating our nachos, our pizza, our wings. Oh, he said, God bless America. That's great. But he didn't mean it the way it is traditionally meant. And I didn't realize this until I went back and read some analysis from people who know more about Latin American politics than I do. And the point that he was making there, and the reason why he was name checking all these other countries and people are prancing around with all these other flags, is we, the United States, we're not America. The whole hemisphere, the whole continent is America. And if you really take this point of view to its radical extreme, what it means is that we're not distinctive as Americans. Our culture here is not distinctive or important. Our borders aren't distinctive and important, and our language is not distinctive and important. So for me, this is a total non-starter. And if we ever really went down this route, we would experience cultural and national divisions, the like of which we haven't experienced since the 1850s or 1860s. We have seen this play out around the world in country after country, and it is something we needed to avoid at all costs. So yes, it was just a halftime show, but it was also a disservice to the United States of America. I'm Rich Lowry, over and out.